call to order the Stevensville Town Council meeting agenda for Thursday, April 25th, 2024. Janelle, would you take the roll call?
Councilor Barker? Here. Councilor Brown? Here. Councilor Nelson? Councilor Smith?
Here.
Mayor Michelson?
Here. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We are now taking agenda item number 3, public comments. Public comments from citizens on anything not on the agenda. Not on the agenda. Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 4, the approval of minutes. Town Council meeting minutes of March 14th, 2024. Can I entertain a motion, please? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion to approve town council minutes from 3/14/2024.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Smith. Second. We have a discussion by the council. Councilmember Barker.
On page 16 of the minutes. Let's see. Sorry, I can't find it. Just some spelling errors on there, I noticed. Mayor Michelson was spelled wrong on the yes, and it's about halfway down the page. And then you have Jackie's name is Jackie Obrin on on that same page. Just a couple little minor. Thank you.
Any other comments from the council? Seeing none, any comments from the public on the minutes? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilor Barker?
Aye.
Councilor Brown?
Aye.
And Councilor Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Move on to item number 5, approval of biweekly claims. Can I entertain a motion, please? Councilmember Smith.
I move that we approve claims 18933 through 18946.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Councilmember Barker.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and we have a second. Do we have any questions on the claims from the council? Councilmember Brown.
Claim number 18933. That was for 4 physicals, correct, that claim?
They were firefighter physicals.
4 of them?
Yes.
Okay. And this is just a general question. Do we have a contract with Storybrooke, or is it just who we use, or?
We went to all the clinics around and put it out to see who would service us the best, and Storybrooke came back with the best price. So we've gone with Storybrooke. They've been doing our firefighter physicals for the last 3 years. So they've been holding the price for us, and we've been pleased with what they're doing, and they know what it is we're need to be tested for and all those types of things. And the results of the exam or the physical goes to the individual firefighter. The only thing that we get as a department gets back is a yes, they're good to be a firefighter, or no, they don't meet the physical ability or their stress level. So we just get a yes or no. We don't have any information about how their health is. That's all between the doctor and the firefighter. We just get a thumbs up, thumbs down type thing.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the claims? Councilmember Barker.
I have a question on claim number 8941 to Montana Saws. It says operating supplies for $500.
8941. I'm sorry, what was that?
18, sorry, did I say 89?
Yeah.
18941.
Yeah, so that was from Montana Saws. And they needed some supplies from that. Let me see, did I put that on there? Oh, yeah, they needed a chain and a steel pole saw for the parks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then I had claim number 18943, which is tall timber climbing. Who is that exactly?
It's a tree service. It's a tree cutting service, and I believe he's out of, I don't know if he's out of Hamilton or what, but yeah, I guess that it was a large tree that our guys couldn't do it, so they had to have a professional do that tree.
I was just kind of curious on that because I see,
And all of
Done
his
it before,
information
so-
was turned in with his business license, so all of his bonding and his insurance and everything was there too.
perfect, thank you.
Any other questions from the council on the claim? Any questions from the public on the? Seeing none,
Councilmember Barker,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Moving on to item number 6, unfinished business. Item number 8, discussion decision, exemption to no overnight camping in Lewis and Clark Park for the special event permits for the circus. As you know, we approved the circus that's coming, and the elephant needs a home for a night. He's left the beach and. He
This
wants
is
to
not
park
that circus.
here. So anyway, before, if it's council wishes, I would like to let Sean give his presentation.
So I talked to the circus, find out exactly what would be needed. So after they pack up the circus Friday evening, after the last show being 7:30, ends around 9 o'clock. They then will bring down the tent, start packing everything up. Sometimes a few of the activities on the outside after the circus last about an extra half hour to 45 minutes. As far as kids in the bounce houses, riding ponies, that kind of stuff. Several of the vehicles will leave and most of the staff will start heading to the new site that night. But due to packing and how late that goes, there's usually about 8 to 10 of the circus staff that's there until very late. So typically what they do is they stay until the next morning and then that's when they turn around and they move out. I've talked to a couple of the venues that they've been in Idaho and Oregon. They said, honestly, when these guys leave the next day, you really can't tell they were there outside of it, unless you go looking for the holes that the tent stakes were in. That's about it. And of course, until the dumpster gets picked up. So they seem to be very, very clean, leave everything as they found it, take care of everything, and then go. Quiet, no noise complaints that I've been able to find out or anything else. So we'd like for them just to be able to stay over that one night before they head off to their next site. 8 to 10 people total.
Thank you, Sean. Any questions from the council? Any questions from the public on the elephant staying overnight?
I don't care if the elephant stays overnight or not, but I like to look at the special use permit. Just so I get a feel of the lay of the land of what's gonna happen down there.
So I have a map. I'm just waiting to set up I have a map with their layout and all that set. I'm just waiting to set up a meeting with Steve, between shared surgeries that seem to be running around. I haven't been able to set that meeting yet, but it's basically about a 300 foot by 300 foot area that they'll take them apart. And the only other thing they need is water.
Not worried about water. I just want to get the lay of the land and where.
Everybody will get that, I'll send that out probably mid-May.
Okay.
I'll
Be
email it to you.
finalized as well. So,
Right, perfect, thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sean. Any other comments from the public on camping overnight circus? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Item number B, discussion decision, resolution number 528, a resolution of the Stevensville Town Council adopting job descriptions for the town of Stevensville. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion to move that we approve resolution 528, a resolution of the Stevensville Town Council adopting job descriptions for the town of Stevensville.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Sir.
Councilmember Smith, has a second. Do we have a conversation from?
I just noticed some little typos down at the bottom. It says adopting 4/11/2024. So that I think the 2020 or 4/25/24 on that, and I think that was the only one on that. Oh, page 35 as well, actually 34, 35, and 36 had that on the bottom of the,
They were all unfortunately attached to the same job description, so I missed that one.
I just wanted to make sure we had that for the record. And then on page 51,
What page again?
51,
51.
again, it's just a typo. I can get to it. Where it says, under essential duties and responsibilities, maintains mandatory records in full court, you have full court all complete together as one word.
It is one word.
Is it?
Yes.
It is.
I might just didn't seem right, so.
It looks weird, I
It
know.
does look weird, it looks very weird, and I don't know if it's because it has the big C on there that,
Yeah,
so,
I
okay,
agree.
that was it on those.
Councilmember Brown.
Okay, so on page 37. The finance officer, I did not see under the 2-126 that, I think we need be bonded or be bondable for the finance officer.
Bonds, such as general obligation bonds, revenue bonds.
That's,
No, that's different, okay.
And then also add that assistant finance officer wherever, under special requirements or wherever it fits the best. On page 45, under the town clerk,
same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
And then just one little, there was a double space on page 45 to act as administrative assistant to the mayor and provides council members with information or documents. It got a double space in there. That's just a little cleanup work. And also I think the town clerk would also supervise the deputy clerk part-time whenever it's needed. Because under the deputy clerk, we should have that person supervised by the finance officer and the deputy clerk. There was, under the deputy clerk on page 48, under number 5, it says that they provide, they'll work under the town clerk also. I think page 45, number 5 is what I wrote down here.
Page what, 45 under 5 or 48?
I said page 48, number, oh, now I see it changed, provides help as needed.
Right.
Help is needed, help is needed. Yeah.
So, since she's working, and her title is deputy clerk, I feel that maybe we should have the town clerk also supervisor. And then also,
I feel comfortable assisting, but supervision wise really does lie more under Gina's role.
Yeah, it's hard to have
With
two
that connection
supervisors.
of
She could
finance.
assist town clerk, but to have two supervisors is very confusing.
That's just my opinion on that piece, but,
well, it says to provide support to the finance department and town clerk.
But she's
So-
supervised by the finance officer.
correct.
And then I had the same question on the court clerk, full court, is if it was one word or two words. And then, under airport manager, what page are you on? I'm sorry, I'm on page 53. Is the airport manager responsible to supervise the volunteers who work up at the airport, or who's doing their supervision? That was a question.
Never really been brought up. I would say it would probably be, since he's on hands-on, it would probably be the airport manager. That's just a chain of command thing that I would think.
Well, they have to approve everything through Will anyway, if they're going to do anything.
Right.
So,
I'm gonna change the language for
not
that.
like employees.
He's right, but I didn't know if technically, if someone would get hurt up there, if,
They would contact the airport manager for sure, and then he would contact me.
I was thinking about insurance claim coming in to the town.
Well, they're covered.
Right, but do they not need to be under a supervision of somebody? I don't know. It was just a question that came up in my,
So like
When I was
so the
reviewing.
volunteers, so they would fall under the airport manager, just like the volunteers for the firefighter. So if a firefighter gets hurt, then they would go to Jeff or the assistant fire chief, and then they would report that to me in order to submit the claim if it's a work comp issue.
But they are supervised though from command. Those volunteers are supervised. They do have supervisors in the fire department.
Do you want that? We can put that on there, no problem.
In the volunteer.
I think it should be on there, that way there's no,
Clarify.
yeah, it is.
Then you don't
Say, well, you're not my
the chair of the airport board
supervisor.
running the volunteers. and-
Deal with that.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, then,
So how would you guys like that to read?
Just, under their supervision, volunteers who are assisting, at the airport.
Volunteers are oversawn by the airport manager. I guess, if you want to word it that way.
So is the airport manager's job description, so in the job description, they supervises volunteers
Overseas
or
volunteers.
oversees volunteers?
Yeah, overseas
Talk
volunteers.
to each other.
overseas volunteer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else from the council? Any comments from the public on resolution 528? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. We'll move on to item number C. Discussion decision, resolution number 529, a resolution of the Stevensville Town Council adopting job descriptions for the town of Stevensville. Can I entertain a motion? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 529, a resolution of the Stevensville Town Council adopting job descriptions for the town of Stevensville.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Councilmember Smith. We have a second. Do we have a comment from the council on resolution 529? Councilmember Brown.
I have some cleanup, pages is about all. And I could just read them off if you'd like, or I can hand you my sheet after, the council meeting.
You can read them off, that's fine, their record, yeah.
in that section.
Okay. Any other comments from the council on resolution 529? Any comments from the public on resolution 529? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Moving on to item number D, discussion decision, resolution number 530, a resolution of the Stevensville Town Council adopting job descriptions for the town of Stevensville. Can I entertain a motion, please? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion for resolution number 530, a resolution of the Stevensville Town Council adopting job descriptions for the town of Stevensville.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker. Do we have a second? Do we have a second by Councilmember Smith? Do we have a discussion by the council? Councilmember Brown.
Okay, so now I do have some corrections, sorry. Page 88, there was a little bit of cleanup work on number 1 and number 6. I think it was indent or something was screwy there. Yeah, I don't see it now.
I've looked at these 25 plus job descriptions.
Okay, so now it's on page 88. Page 88, number 5 and number 6. Just a little cleanup work. Page 89, number 12, a little indent, and under number 5 on that page. On page 93, under special requirement C, we have a little, held is, needs to be moved over.
There's one on C as well.
And there, I had 2 C's on there,
Just needs to go in.
yeah. Oh, we have A, B, C, C on that page. Then D and E.
Okay.
Page 109. I had marked that. Now I'm not seeing it.
I don't see anything on page
Yeah, it's,
9. Looks pretty clear to me.
yeah. And then page 112 under I, we have knowledge of, and then a blank line, and then applicable laws underneath, that just a clean up thing. Page 118, I think necessary knowledge and skills and abilities need to be bolded. And I think that's all I found for a little cleanup stuff.
Is that it, Councilmember Brown?
That's all I could find for cleanup work.
Thank you. Any other comments from the council? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker? Aye. Councilmember Brown?
I
And Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Item number E, discussion decision, resolution number 531, a resolution of the Stevensville Town Council adopting job descriptions for the town of Stevensville. Can I entertain a motion? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 531, a resolution of the Stevensville Town Council adopting job descriptions for the town of Stevensville.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second by Councilmember Smith. Do we have a discussion by the council?
Okay,
Councilmember Brown.
okay. Page 130. Under the plant operator. Only because it was in one of our previous meetings that, as long as Glenn is available by phone, it's okay that Cody runs the plant. So do we need, the public work assistant as being supervised by the plant, operator? That's a,
No, I think it would still fall under Lassiter. He is his supervisor. Cody's. I mean, he might be working with Glenn, but I don't think Glenn would be his supervisor, per se.
okay. Okay, well then that takes care of the next two questions I had about Public Works Assistant 1 and Assistant 2 need to work also with the plant operator. And I think the last one I have is on page 154. Is the aerobics instructor is under being supervised by the pool manager, and does that need to be the head lifeguard?
Pool manager.
Okay.
And I would say, and I get your reasoning there, Councilmember Brown, but I think after a while you start to get too many supervisors involved, one on the other, one on the other, and pretty soon we have to get down to where it's so.
The only reason why I questioned that was because under the one, it says the lifeguard instructors work under the head lifeguard, so that's why I was just questioning that.
Okay. Any other questions from the council? Any questions from the public? On item number F, or E, resolution 531. I'd like to add before we get to vote that we should all be very proud of ourselves, each and every one of you, each staff member, department head, everybody in here. This started from scratch. We had 3 COW meetings, we had 2 council meetings. We basically started over with these job descriptions from day one. We brought them all back, they're updated. It's something that, for whatever reason, the other mayors didn't want to do, that now we know why, it's a headache, and to get it right, there's a lot of pieces and parts that go into this, and a lot of back and forth with NMIA. But we should all be very proud that we got this in order. It was an agenda item that we've all talked about for years. I know Stacy and I have, Cindy and I have, all 3 of us since we've been on council. So I want to commend you all, council. I want to commend all the department heads and all the employees that put their heart into this, because it is a tough job. Now that we have them in place, we can feel comfortable knowing going forward. And if there's changes, and I will say, I want to thank Janelle for this. She's the one that thought of the resolutions to put them in different orders. Because before, when a mayor wanted to just go in and change the job description, he just ripped it out of there, changed it. Sometimes he brought it before the council, sometimes he didn't. And this year is a safeguard. Has to be a resolution, has to be brought out. It just can't rip one out and bring it forward. It has to bring the whole resolution. And it's easier to go forward and find that too, isn't it? That way, instead of scrambling when it was on an agenda and change. So thank you all. Appreciate it. With that, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker?
Aye.
Councilmember Brown? Aye. And Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Move on to new business. Discussion decision.
Yeah. Letter F.
Oh, F, I crossed that up. Excuse me. Herb. Discussion decision, consent to the mayor's appointment of Heidi Motley as a volunteer support person for the town of Stevensville Fire Department. Sorry, Heidi, you had to wait, 3 meetings now? And I almost skipped you again. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, again, Heidi's here again tonight. The support role within the fire department, we've always had quasi-support people, and it feels a very important need for the department. I mean, the different plethora of job assignments that these individuals fill for us as volunteers is huge. It's all a little behind the scenes stuff that never seems to get the attention, but has to be done in order to make everything operate. So I think Heidi brings some very good skills to the position in her different marketing, different things that she's very highly skilled at, so that'll be a benefit to us. So I would appreciate you approving your appointment.
Thank you, Jeff. Can I entertain a motion? Councilmember Smith.
I move that this council will adopt consent to mayor's appointment of Heidi Motley as volunteer support person for the town of Stevensville Fire Department.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith. Do we have a second? Councilmember Brown.
I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Do we have a discussion by the council? Do we have a discussion by the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker?
Aye.
Councilmember Brown?
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Now we'll move on to new business. Discussion decision, consent to the mayor's appointment of Tasha Robach as a volunteer cadet for the Stevensville Fire Department. Wow, another one.
Another one.
Thank you.
So Tasia is the daughter of Robert Robach, who is on the department, has been on the department for about 5 years now. She was only able to be here tonight due to tennis practice, so otherwise she would have been here. But she'll be another good cadet for us, good hard worker, and I think she'll work out very fine.
Thanks, Jeff. Councilmember Parker.
I make a motion for the consent to the mayor's appointments for Taja Robot as a volunteer fire cadet for the town of Stevensville Fire Department.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker. Do we have a second? Councilmember Brown.
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilmember Brown. Do we have a discussion by the council? Do we have a discussion by the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Barker?
Aye.
Councilmember Brown?
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Item number B, discussion decision, approval of memorandum of agreement between the town of Stevensville and the Montana Department of Transportation for the John Owen fishing access. So before I entertain a motion, I've been going through this back and forth, and shame on me for not digging into it deeper. But the more I read this agreement, the more I have questions as far as what are we liable for? Is it just the signage? Does it go into the parkway that goes into there? And not only that, but if you look at the plans down in there, it looks great and everything, but some of the parking and everything goes into our land, town's land. And I can't ever recall, Casey and I were on council when this first, back in 16, and the county turned it down. Of course, Maya made the swap access to her part, but I don't recall, do you think of us ever giving that part to the Fish,
No.
Wildlife and Parks for that?
I think
For that
it,
parking?
we need to make a motion to discuss first.
Yeah, yes. Go ahead and start.
I'll make a motion for approval of memorandum agreement between the town of Stevensville and the MDT for the John Owens Fishing Access Site.
What? We need a second. We have a motion, do we have a second?
Okay, I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Now, Councilmember Parker.
So I think when it was all originally, when it came about, yes, there was the land swap and everything, which we couldn't come to agreement on what they were wanting compared to what we wanted. At the time, they were talking about using the access of the pit toilet and making those changes to the pit toilet, due to the fact that we're the area that is on the other side of the fence, closest to the river, which was at one time I guess it was a dump, you would say. We could not build on that. But I don't remember them ever saying that we were giving them land to be able to build on that. Marla, is it Marla? Mila had said that she would donate the land for them to go in and put a small little campground type area for that. And at that time, I thought it was gonna happen within just a short period because she was visiting with Fish, Wildlife and Parks on that at the time before. And I did remember MDT being involved at that time. So.
Yes, also, I have questions about some liability issues, and I also have questions about, it appears to me from the memorandum of understanding that Montana Department of Transportation basically says that the town has agreed to maintain or cause maintain the proposed John Fish access fishing site for project improvement, shows in attachment B. Well, you look at attachment B and it's John Fishing access site, so are we just, is it just for the signs, or are we liable
To
for all
me,
that
it's
stuff once
the-
they build it?
After reading it a couple different times through there, it sounds like they're making the responsibility of the town to take care of the whole thing.
Right, that's how
Not
it
just, it's the whole thing. So at the time, I thought it was the Fish, Wildlife and Parks was gonna come in there. They were gonna be the ones to maintain it at that particular time when we talked about it before. And I don't remember the guy's name that was here that represented Fish, Wildlife and Parks, that he got up and spoke about it. So, I mean, we already have our, Public Works Department, a lot of responsibilities yet to take on this. So, I mean, it's a lot of work. And
And
they're supposed to be done by 2025, is that correct, is what I read? Was completed, or is that when they're starting the project?
I propose that we could table this, and I will come back with answers in the main meeting, and if I have to, I'll try to get Fish, Wildlife and Parks to come here and give a presentation on all this, to see where we are. Because if we're liable for it, it's not in the budget, we don't have a big budget for this. Somebody would go and wreck the latrine down there on one of the roads or that metal gate, and they said, what, you signed the agreement, you gotta pay for it.
Well, and
Councilmember Brown.
I noticed they have campsites there. Is it overnight, day camp, whatever? Are we also going to be responsible cleaning up those campsites and stuff?
Right.
I don't know how our small public works department could take on another major, is it daily, weekly, monthly?
Right, who's gonna pick up the garbage and the trash and come and pump out the latrine?
Exactly.
Councilmember Smith.
As I was reading this over, I don't see any type of dollar value that the town would be responsible for. I think we should have some kind of an estimate.
Correct. So if the council wishes, Councilmember Brown.
And it seems like the town is doing the maintenance, but what are we getting back in exchange?
Right.
The give and take here.
As been mentioned, yes, we get all this money back from all the fishermen and everything down there, but I walk every day, as you all know down, up and back to town. I don't see a lot of pickups and boats coming to town to have lunch. When they're done loading and they come to there or whatever, they load their boats up and they're heading out towards Super One and out of town. No offense, I mean, but I've heard that so many times, and they do bring some business in, but I'm
I
more,
mean, it's a great, I like how it is proposed, but however, after, like I said, reading it, it sounds like they're turning it over to the town of Stevensville and it's our responsibility. I thought that Marla and Fish, Wildlife and Parks were the ones that were working on this deal together, not us, and we would still have the access where we have it now on our part of the park.
but I also read the memorandum and there's nothing in there about Fish, Wildlife and Parks.
It's all
just
DOT.
signs. And when I read that original email, it just said signage. And I thought, okay, it's the signs, that's all it is. And the rest of the stuff is all on now. But we still have unanswered questions, like we all talked about. So if the council wishes, after I ask comments from the public, I would like to, if you would, entertain a motion to table this, and then I will get the answers. And if I have to, I'll get Fish, Wildlife and Parks to come here and do a presentation. And that way, maybe a public hearing, and that way the public can have more comments to weigh in themselves. Because this is a big deal. It's a huge thing down here. And any comments from the public on the fishing access site? Comes, Jeff?
And I remember the conversations that pursued all this action, and it was all between Fish, Wildlife and Parks and the Fort Owen Ranch, not the town. A lot of this talks about the right-of-way and not right-of-way, roadway, right-of-way that they have, but some of it does pertain back to the park. But I think you have a great idea. Let's get a hold of Fish, Wildlife and Parks, see what's going on, why and how come, and what happened, and get their input on this. I think it's a great idea.
Thanks, Jeff. Any other comments from the public? I entertain a motion, you got a table.
Do I need to resend my motion because we had already put a motion on the table?
No, that was just to start the discussion. So I think if you, make a motion to table it, and we can bring it back, vote on that, we can do it that way.
I would like to make a motion to table memorandum of agreement between the town of Stevensville and MDT for the John Owens Fishing Access Site.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Councilmember Brown.
I'll second.
We have a second. Do we have any further discussion on tabling the issue, having me looking into it, and if I have to, we'll bring Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks back to a presentation to get this all straightened out, because maybe it is just a signage, and that's all it is, a little bit of the roadway, and they're putting all this big stuff in there, and they're gonna do it, they're gonna maintain it, but we need to be sure.
We need to be sure.
We need to be sure, dot our i's and q's before we sign off on something and you go, whoa. So. No other further comments? Seeing none, do now we need to take the vote.
Councilor Barker,
Aye.
Councilor Brown,
Aye.
and Councilor Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Discussion decision, special event permit for the Stevensville Harvest Valley Farmers Market. Can I entertain a motion? Councilmember Brown.
I make the motion, for the special event permit for the Stevensville, Harvest Valley Farmers Market.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second by Councilmember Smith. Do we have a discussion on the special event permit? Do we have a discussion from the public on the special event? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the roll?
Councilor Barker,
I need to abstain from it.
Councilor Brown,
Aye.
Councilor Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0, one abstained. Thank you. Discussion decision. Special event permit for the Stevensville Harvest Valley Farmers Market and Car Show. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Brown.
I make the motion for the special event permit for the Stevensville Harvest Valley Farmers Market and Car Show.
I have a motion by Councilmember Brown. Do I have a second? Councilmember Smith has seconded the motion. Do I have a discussion by council? Do I have a discussion on the public?
Do we have a copy of said request permit? So you see who's parking where, what all's happening?
It's actually on East Third Street and Church, so it's across the street is where they're gonna be on the car show. So just like when we would have the other big events, they're just gonna be on the other side of the street.
So we're shutting off East Third.
Correct.
We did it about the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, it's,
I mean, generally, we get the document comes forward for any comments and input, so we can review it. Haven't seen anything of that, we can get that.
I can bring those back through, yes, on that particular one for sure.
We get
Thank you, Jeff. Any further comments from the public? Any comments from the council? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilor Barker,
I said abstain, sorry.
Councilor Brown.
Aye.
And Councilor Smith.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0, one abstain. Item number E, discussion decision, compensation for city clerk Janelle Burgess. As you all know, we lost on December 17th or sometime through there, the deputy clerk had resigned. Janelle took over the duties, basically her and Gina at first. And as time went on, we started digging into, as you all know what happened, it was a mess there. We had to have training one day, we had to shut down hall. Robert was there, we went to the Black Mountain. And since then, Janelle has still taken that role. It has been trying at times for Janelle. She has to take that role, she has to take the city clerk. Yes, we could have hired a deputy clerk, as we all know, but we wanted to get it right. We finally pretty sure found the right one, it took a while. And not only that, but there's other roles. When Chris Cruz resigned as a police clerk, Janelle took that role over. When Joe was the first officer there, Janelle, knowing that the police, all the stuff in there, the emails, the Zerker, all that stuff, she got in there, she got it all up and running. And when John came in there, she was hands-on with him, and she's still helping John. If we had a deputy clerk full-time, that's $20 an hour times 40 hours. Right? That's $800 a week. You take that times 4, that's $3,200. You take that times 4 over 4 months, that's $12,800. Janelle, all she's asking for, she actually didn't ask for it. Gina and I proposed it, that's why I put it on there, because we see that, we see what she does. We proposed giving her 3 hours extra for the time she's put in, and she will be, and she has been helping the new deputy clerk now. She was there most of the afternoon helping her, getting her fitted in. And I know I've heard stories, and I know last year, I sat where you were, I voted no on that. It was a different situation. I didn't truly understand what the roles are in here. But now that I've been in there and I see what goes on every day, some days are chaotic. You pass yourself twice. And without a deputy clerk, Janelle has had to fork out. And I've also heard stories, well, that's part of her job responsibilities. Part is the key. She did that role completely. Completely. She's held it up, she did the billing every month, they come in. She's kept coding them going on the meters, she did that side of it. She takes a cemetery, she takes them that duty. And somebody comes in and she has to go to the charts, she has to get that all lined up, so there's a lot involved there. She's basically took 3 roles on her, and she's asking for a little compensation. And I will say that after the last council meeting, this council approved, which is fine, you guys all approved call pay for public works. But you're paying them compensation for sitting at home, waiting for the phone to ring. She is here, putting in time on the clock. She's not sitting at home waiting, she's doing it. And I think, to be fair, we should compensate her. So with that, can I entertain a motion? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion to move to compensate for city clerk Janelle Berthoud. Where's that? Why did it just stop right there? Just to compensate, is that all it says?
That's all.
Yes.
Okay, I was waiting for more.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have a discussion by the council? Councilmember Smith.
With this $3 an hour compensation, there also be any sick time or vacation time added onto it as well?
No, she already collects that with her regular duties as the town clerk. Councilmember Ray.
So this is a one-time payment
Yes.
for the amount shown here. And I want to make a correction, I did not vote for the on-call last council meeting.
I meant as a council. Any further questions from the council? Councilmember Barker.
So will she continue to have the $3 an hour after this is all done, or just the one time?
The compensation also includes helping deputy clerk until she gets her. But it's figured in here, you prove this tonight, that's it, she just goes back to her regular time. It's just a reward for, she stepped up. Janelle has history and stuff. She has relationships with Eli Malloy, she has relationships with people we don't even know about that. And she does that, and she comes to me and such person, I mean, these are people within government agencies that she's built a relationship through the years. And I know that, and she has a relationship with everybody that comes here and pays her water. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. I mean, she's a valued employee of the town, and I think we should really compensate for this one time for stepping up for over 4 months, filling the role until we finally found somebody that we feel fits. That's a good fit. And it's a deputy clerk. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you so much. Discussion decision. Suspend council rules to cancel the May 9th, 2024 town council meeting authorizing claims to be paid out of cycle. As you all know, we will be going to government training school in Fairmont Hot Springs next month, the 7th through the 9th. We did it last year. We suspended council rules. We only had 1 meeting in May because we went to the meetings, Stacy and I. It's very informative, and I think it's worth, if we have to have a special meeting or whatever, we can always do it in May. And it's too tight of a window to leave Fairmont and get back here by 6:30 that Thursday night. Because sometimes we mill around and talk and tell stories. So with that, can I entertain Councilmember Barker?
I make a motion to suspend town council rules to cancel the May 9th, 2024 town council meeting and authorizing claims to be paid out of cycle.
I have a motion, do we have a second? Councilmember Smith. We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have a discussion by the council? A discussion by the public? Seeing none, now would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Board reports? None. Town council comments? None? Okay. I'll move on to my executive report. On the 11th of this month, I had a meeting with Riley Lover, HDR, regarding his Spring Street pre-construction meeting on the 30th. And I sent Councilmember Brown an email on that. We'll be here, I think, at 10 o'clock. On 4/12/24, I had a meeting with Thomas Orr, he's attorney for Frank Poramsky, regarding the abatement cleanup on 3rd Street and Park Avenue. Our attorney, me, Thomas Orr, and Frank Poramsky's daughter were there, or Cindy was there. We walked the property, and went back and forth. We didn't really get a lot resolved. But it is what it is. I'll continue to move forward with our town ordinance on that and give you a report on how we're doing. On 4/16, had a meeting with Ross Miller, Grave Overstreet, Jesse Reeves, Cindy Brown and I, and we were on the Jesse Reeves property. We walked that, and that was regarding the water rights easement that we need to have. We have those ponds, we have those wetlands out there that we must have easement to get our water rights. And so the meeting went fairly well to a point, and kind of went sideways at the end, Cindy, but we'll get there. On 4/24, I attended a disaster mitigation plan. That was yesterday in Missoula, and that I was very impressed. It was very informative. I was informed that we have to have a disaster contingency response plan done on our wastewater and water plant. And when I asked how soon it had to be done, I was told yesterday. So in other words, we have to get on it. They gave me a flash drive, filled it down, they worked me through what we have to do. I discussed it with Gina and Janelle today, and we're gonna have to get together. It's have to be with Jeff, John, everybody. We're gonna have to come with an emergency plan in case we have a disaster, earthquake, tornado, whatever, and something happens at the water plant. We need to have a plan of action, because we don't have one. We don't have one whatsoever. If something were to happen, we'd all be scrambling. And we're also supposed to, and I'll take care of that, become part of the Valley County disaster mitigation, disaster plan there. I know in 17, when Jim Cruz was mayor, I was on the council, we went down there and we were part of that for a few months, but then after the next mayor took over, it just all went away. And now we're told we need to be part of that. It's quarterly meetings, and I don't have a problem attending that. And also, I sat down with Jen, she's rural water, and she worked me through all our loans, what we owe, and she couldn't stress enough how we have to raise our water rates. We haven't, and Janelle and I went through today, we looked at old resolutions. We found that the last time the town raised its water rates was in September of 2015. And even though there's a thing here that says that we should have raised them every year by 20 or 30 cents or 60 cents, never got done. And after that, the mayors, they just didn't want to do it. And now we're basically told by law we have to do it or we could lose our bonds, all that stuff, our grants. And so I just want to let everybody know that's coming down the pipe also. We're also starting our budget pretty soon, workshops in May. When Robert gets back, I'll sit down with him and finalize stuff, and he'll start having some workshops. So that's coming down. And last but not least, last Friday, there was an incident in town. A lady at a local establishment, it was a back and forth between two political, the same party, two fractions. Lady took a sign, put it in her pickup. Got out of her pickup, went up, grabbed another sign, moved it behind another sign. And she was being videotaped by somebody from the other opposing whatever. She took that video and she went down to our local police department and she wanted that person who took the sign, political sign, charged with theft. Our chief of police did his job, went to her place the next day and gave her a ticket. This is an 81-year-old lady we're talking about. 81 years old. Yeah, she took a sign, shame on her. But the other side, to have the audacity to go down to our police department and have her charged with theft is just appalling to me. It's just appalling to me. When they could have walked 15 feet into that cafe and sat down and worked out their differences. Now, this is the same party here. This isn't two different Republican, Democrat. This is two Republicans. And in my opinion, it's gotten ugly, real ugly. I say shame on the lady that took the sign, and I even say double shame on the other person that went down and had her charged. I was informed of it Friday afternoon by the chief. I thought about it all weekend. And on Sunday, I had the chief come over to my house. I talked to him. And I did what I thought was the best I could do. She would have been fingerprinted, pictured. We all know who she is. She's very passionate about her politics in town. But I do not believe that we need this kind of coverage. Nobody's winner. Nobody wins at this. One side says, well, this, and the other side's going to say, well, she should have been that. But no. So I use my authority as the mayor under section 74-4305, power to grant pardons. The mayor has a power to grant pardons and limit fines and forfeitures for offenses against the city or town ordinances when the mayor's judgments, public justice would be thereby subversed. The mayor must report all pardons granted with the reasons thereof to the next council. So I'm reporting to you. I granted her a pardon.
She was not convicted.
No.
Can't pardon someone that's not convicted.
Yes, you can. So with that, can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned.
Yeah, for you.